Yeah, but if for the future, you can give me the key anyway, in case it doesn't work, so we can switch it on our side.
Okay, I will
It's
provide
just
you the
a
key.
fallback solution, right?
I will provide you the key as well, so you have it in the MetaMask.
That's nice.
Super.
C'est
Thank you
trop
very
drôle.
much. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry for being distracted. May I ask you to vote on the agenda if you wish, because it seems there are no other proposals. So whoever is willing to approve or disapprove the agenda, the vote is on the line 72 plus.
And we have to confirm the minutes from the last board meeting anyway.
Yeah, may I ask you to link the minutes from the last meeting to our minutes?
We have to confirm the minutes from the last board meeting anyway.
Yes, I see the agenda to be approved. So let's go first for approval of the minutes from the last. Go meeting. First for approval of the minutes from the last. Go meeting. First for approval of the minutes from the last. Go meeting. First for approval of the minutes from the last. By the way, hello Thanasis. Great to see you after that years. We have introduced a new procedure that the guests for the board meetings should introduce themselves. Could you please shortly introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Thanasis Gounaris, and I am from PPGR. I'm late coming because I just arrived from my job. I'm glad to be here, and I want to.
Si à chaque fois qu'il y a quelqu'un qui se pointe, il faut qu'on arrête la réunion pour qu'il se présente, on va pas s'en sortir. Hein.
At the end, may I ask you not to disturb other speakers when speaking, and please do speak in English. I'm sorry, but the English is a working language of the PPEU. Thanks.
Sorry.
Okay. Do we have the link for the minutes from the last time?
Yes, line 79.
79. I see that. Okay. Could we first could we vote on approving the minutes? Approval of the minutes. Yes, no abstain. It will be on the line 80 plus. Okay, I see a majority of the vote members voting in favor, so I consider the minutes to be approved. And we can go directly to the first point, which are the reports.
Excuse me, Mikuláš, I wanted to ask something. A person from the Code of Conduct is asking when we would talk about which subject on the agenda. Maybe we have not written it down. Because he wants to have his supper as long as it doesn't happen. And so do we know when we need the Code of Conduct Council?
I guess the Code of Conduct Council would be, or the members will be very much needed during the points 2 and 3, which are the rules of procedure for the board and the moderation on the mattermost. So in both cases, I believe they should be present and participating as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. That will be very soon. Okay, thank you.
That was more or less the intention to go straight as soon as possible. So I will probably give my report. From my point of view, I reported to the Luxembourgish Business Register, or the Register of Beneficiaries, all the respective data, and they started processing them. So far, not replying in any other way. So far, I consider the issue to be resolved. Should it be coming again, I will report you. What happened again? Also, we had some meetings of the working groups. There was some meeting of media working group and working group on the rules of procedure that have been tabled. Plus, additionally, I believe the working group on the finance provided some recommendation, but I'm not really aware of that. So I would like to ask the respective board members who are responsible for the working groups to provide their report, what happened there and what are the proposals. I don't know who wants to start. Maybe Lukáš.
Okay, I may start. So we had, as Mikuláš mentioned, can you hear me? Do you hear me clearly?
Yes.
I have a new video camera and my mic. Okay, thanks. Yesterday we had a media working group meeting, and basically we discussed two things. One regarding potential Nobel Peace Prize nomination for Banksy. This is the idea by Carlito from Italian Pirates, Italian and Swiss, I think. Pirates. So we talked about many like potential obstacles, and we didn't conclude this issue because we also didn't have mandate. There was me, Mikuláš, Honza, and Mia yesterday. Yeah. So maybe we can talk about it a bit today as well with the others of you. And the second thing is the division of social media platforms, like responsibilities, and basically, we talk about the GitLab. Mikuláš said the GitLab is the main tool for media presentation, media work, and also two Czech volunteers agreed to cooperate with us. I'm gonna paste the division. So I should be responsible for Facebook with Lucie. Maybe Niki and Ondřej are the employees of the delegation, and Mia volunteered for Twitter. I think that's it from my side. I'm open for questions.
Yeah, Lukáš, maybe you can add something in the minutes. I did catch it all.
You mean regarding the media?
Regarding your report.
Sorry, what didn't you catch?
You told a lot of things you have done, so it's a good idea to put it in the minutes. And your line is 104 and 5.
Yeah, exactly. And we can in more detail discuss it within the point
yes,
4.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
The media team. Okay. Anyone willing to, or Alessandro?
Yes, Miklos. Hello, everybody. I just would like to ask you about the report from this media meeting. I remember that we are gonna we talk about somehow organizing some material. I mean, a photo, good pictures for media, also for website for everybody. Did you talk about this or not? Do we have any ideas about this or not? Thank you.
We didn't talk about it yesterday, but yeah, I am gonna sum up the whole. I still haven't had time for like summary of both meetings. Yeah, I have some. I made notes also during the first meeting, which was at the beginning of February, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna sum up the both meetings, and I'm gonna post it on Mattermost. And
please provide the summary to the minutes so it is recorded. Okay, so far to the media. Is there anyone willing to report anything more? Some other meetings?
Just for the recording, if you don't mind. I cleaned the cloud. We had a lot of documents in the cloud, and so I cleaned it a little bit. It's a new structure, and we have. I know we have two clouds, and but the cloud we are using are a lot of stuff in it from former boards and so on. Yes, and the meeting for working groups I prepared already, and I participate in the two meetings to prepare the rules of procedure. And I send out the invitation for the technology working group, so we can meet us in the near future. Hopefully, we get a lot of support. Thank you.
Thank you. I realized that I should also report for the record one more thing. I was asked by Gregory Engels on behalf of ECI File Sharing Initiative to provide us support using our Matamo we currently run on behalf of BPEU, which I see reasonable and justified by the Council's decision to support the respective ECI initiative. So I will gladly provide him the access as soon as he will approach me again, if there are no objections.
No objections from my side, but it's a good idea to put it in a minute that we have it notice in the minutes for the future.
Okay, I think we are finished with the reports, and we can go to the point 2 of the agenda, which are the rules of procedure. May I ask you, Bastian, to introduce the proposal that was elaborated by the working group?
Oh my God, I have to look for the link to that. Just a second.
I put it in the chat.
Hey, really? Where?
Plus, there's another document.
Yeah, we have a proposal for that. I sent it to you already, but sorry about that. I'm not prepared for that.
Is it not the proposal in the pad that I just put in the chat, Bastian?
Ah, chat. I had understood pad.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm gonna put it in the pad now. If this is the right pad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's our working pad. Yeah, thank you for putting or for helping out. And that's a draft from day before yesterday, and I think we took the old rules of procedure as a template and we added some important things, namely the that we shall respect our code of conduct. I think it's very important, and we discussed a lot of things about the code of conduct, and we have added the paragraph 3 with the publicity, and there we added that the spirits of the statutes or the manifesto and the current code of conduct, and we made a little bit amendments to the rules for the guests. They are allowed to join and speak it up during a meeting if approved to do so by the chairperson, and the chairperson is the chairperson of the meeting. Yes, what we did else? Nothing. We had been sufficient with that proposal, and I give it to you to discuss it. Thank you.
I would maybe use the opportunity. Sorry, Katla, please.
Thank you, Nicholas. I just want to say I really like this proposal. I thank you for the work that you did on it. Thank you, Nicholas. And I'm just wondering if I should document the people that participated in the work. If you think, I think it's good to know, but if you don't think it's necessary, that's also fine.
For transparency, there had been only 3 people in the group. That was Miklas, me, and Mia. I don't care that you can put it in the minutes who is responsible for that draft, and but we have no rights on it.
Well, I think we should definitely give the credit also to Alessandro, who was present there, for sure. And I believe there were more of us.
Really? Yeah. In the second meeting, you're right. Yeah, right. I remembered only the first meeting. My fault. Sorry.
Yes, I would like to use the opportunity to stress some important aspects of the rules of procedure that should be known to all of the board members. First of all, the decisions are taken by a simple majority of board members voting. I mean, it's in the paragraph 5, and it defines how do we count votes in the meetings. Second important aspect, it touches paragraph 8 regarding budget provisions. And the idea is that orders incurred and no more totaling 100 euro per month can be approved by the treasurer himself. The idea behind is that we should really be able to process simple orders like stamps for letters and paper and stuff like that without too much bureaucracy. So the threshold was proposed to be 100, but I think it would be good if all the board members realize that it should work that way and takes note about it. So I would really like to ask you to notice in the minutes that we have discussed this.
Yes, to be clear, the voting a problem for pilots in every situation, and it's quite clear the problem with the abstentions. How do we count them? And it's quite unproblematic that we say yes, abstentions will be also count, that you have a clear result, but abstentions are not taken into account. That means that If you have 2 votes yes and 3 votes no, and 10 attentions, it's done. It's not approved, and vice versa. So the abstentions are not hidden no votes. That's the rule we have in all parties, I think. Maybe you can correct me.
Exile is raising hand and Katla is raising hand. So Exile, please.
Well, but I'm going back from the actual discussion. I wanted to point out another thing on this rules of procedure, which is that it's a little bit change of work. Right now, we're doing most of the work, perhaps going 1 hour, 2 hours in front of the meeting into the pad, thinking a little bit about what we should speak about and how should we do it. With the rules of procedure, the agenda for the meetings will be fixed quite earlier. There is time 6 hours, I believe, for board members to put something in the agenda, and 24 hours for normal members of the European Pirates, if I remember well.
Yeah, to have an agenda on short notice is a pity. So we should prepare that quite early. And if there is an important point of the agenda, we can amend the agenda. It's not a problem about that. But normally every meeting of a board should be prepared carefully by the members itself, so that they really know what they are doing. We stress a meeting if we come to a meeting with no preparation. So for preparation, you have to know what's going on, and I think that's a good idea to give it maybe 1 week in advance or something like that, but not only some hours before the meeting, prior to the meeting. So that's a good idea to have rules for that we have to prepare carefully the meeting. Then as the meetings will be shortened because we have no how-to discussions.
Absolutely agreed.
So are you suggesting a longer time for the agenda to be published, Exile, or are you happy with it as it is?
Sorry for eating. No, my point was, and with Bastian's report, it would be okay. Of course, if there's the possibility to amend the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, and the chair will accept it, so we're always flexible. It's just a game of words, so I'm okay with it in the end.
Okay, great. Thank you, Exile. Well, I raised my hand before, Mikulas, just to ask a question to the people in the working group. In light of the situation that we had here before, I must say that I've had this uncomfortable feeling before on meetings when people are not identifying themselves, and I'm not completely comfortable not knowing who I'm sitting with. And so that's why I was very happy with Mia suggesting before that guests will identify themselves. But in the rules, in this draft, it says in point 3 in publicity, there's nothing that explicitly says that people have to identify themselves. But I'm wondering, in light of the incident before, if the sentence "guests that disrupt the meeting can be excluded by the chairperson," I think that would fall under that category, wouldn't it?
Most probably, yes.
Okay.
I mean, we explicitly stated here that the meetings should adhere the code of conduct.
Yeah.
I'm very much aware of the fact that code of conduct itself is not yet written. And that's a very, very much task for our Code of Conduct Council members who are present here, because I believe that such a rule of like that generally like people shall identify themselves in the board meetings or any other meetings of the DPEU shall apply generally, so should be part of the code of conduct.
Yeah.
But we can also introduce it to this proposal for rules of procedure. But as said, I believe it should apply generally, so should be included over there. But it's very much on your wish. I would aim to have, let's say, broad rules that applies everywhere without exceptions, so that it is clear and simple.
I think.
Lukáš is rising. Sorry.
No, sorry. I thought you were finished. I apologize.
So Lukáš is. Yeah.
I just want to say that I think this sentence in point 3. It says guests are allowed to join and speak up during a meeting if approved to do so by the chairpersons, and that guests that disrupt the meeting can be excluded by the chairperson. And I think in cases like we had before today, that definitely was a disruption. And I think it would not be necessary to complicate these rules anymore, because common sense can tell us that disruption is disruption. And I'm just glad that I just want to point this out. And again, I love these rules of procedure. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.
Okay, just following what Katla said, I guess that there is disrupt the meeting can be excluded by the chairperson. I think we need clarification of disruption in the final version. That's one thing. And paragraph 6, meeting minutes. The decisions of the board that have not been taken by unanimity or consensus are written together with the detail of each board member's vote. What's meant by consensus? I think we should specify this this word. Thank you.
Okay, my interpretation of consensus, should I be chairing, would be that I ask for objections, and if there are no objections, I consider that to be consensus. That would be my understanding. I would not need a clarification, but should you be willing, please provide the specific wording. Marco is raising hand, please. And then Mia. Sorry, Mickey. Sorry. Marco and Mickey.
Yes,
Marco, please speak.
Thank you. I would like to point out that actually there is a code of conduct manifesto which was approved at the Milano Council meeting, and even if it is not a list of rules, it's a list of principles. So we have it in the wiki right now. I sort of took them from the minutes of meeting of the council meeting in Milan. And so actually that document, it's not called code of conduct, but it's the code of conduct manifesto. And I think the principles are actually applicable. On the other point, the Council of the Code of Conduct doesn't have an executive power. We are a consultative organ, so we can do suggestions, but we cannot enforce rules. Or at least we can give suggestion and provide a way, but then it's up to the board to take our suggestions or not.
Yes, I would answer that. That of course it's suggestion. However, we as the board, we gladly expect you and ask you to provide such suggestions as a base for our decisions, because I believe none of the board members is comfortable with deciding without such backing. Mickey? I see hand risen from Mickey.
Yes, now I would like to see this just not disrupted, because disruption is actually actively disrupting the meeting, and there was the position where people just come in and it's uncomfortable for certain people to be in the same room, and that's more like corrupting the room. So if we write the guest that disrupt or corrupt the room, that would cover everything, all the possibilities.
I see. Okay. I would like. So should that be a proposal for, let's say, amending the text or the proposal? I would like to ask any board member who would be interested to second this comment to actually phrase it and as a formal proposal to amend this proposal we have for rules of procedure. If there is a board member that wants to second it. I see hand risen from Mia.
Yes, I would just like to ask the Code of Conduct members to put the link of the Code of Conduct manifesto into the minutes for everybody to read it. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I would like to use this opportunity and to ask the Code of Conduct Council whether they intend to actually create a real-like Code of Conduct that would be more like formalizing these respective principles, or like be more detailed, or if there is no such an intention.
We didn't. Oh, sorry. I must raise my hand.
We didn't. And what's your plan?
Okay. Actually, we didn't. And if this is required and asked by the board, we can of course discuss between us. But from our perspective, we feel that we can start working with the actual manifesto, because what we are talking about is behavior, and I mean, I will go a bit with the personal opinion here. I don't think that something like 10 commandments would be helpful in this situation, because if we have a general problem, it will not be fixed by a list of do and don'ts. The manifesto, I think it's a great document, and actually is very clear on what is the behavior that it's expected from pirates when they interact between each other. And I also think that it was really good how the Council of the Code of Conduct was structured, in the sense that we are speaking about matters where actually we need to be listened to, and I mean, we don't need executive power as it is, but we need to be heard. So if the board feel that there is the need of such a list, we can I can sure provide back these for us to discuss. But as I said, my personal opinion is that the manifesto is a good start. I mean, maybe Etienne could disagree with me, because as I said, If you want an official position of the Council of the Code of Conduct, we will need to discuss it within ourselves and have some meetings.
Okay, so I see hand risen from Honza, and I see Katla probably adopting Mickey's proposal to change the statute, the proposed rules of procedure. So Honza, please. Honza, please unmute your mic if you want to speak. Honza? We can hear you.
I love it how you sound like a parent when you're calling Hansa, Nicholas. Hansa?
We have
so am I audible
specific...
or not?
Yes.
Because for some reason, like there's no volume symbol on my profile here when I'm looking at it. Well, anyways, maybe it's just a Jitsi bug. So what concerns the guest behavior, I think that this could be solved by, well, let's say the chairperson of the meeting or whoever is, if it's a working group, then the leader of the working group, I'd say, has sort of a responsibility. They can fire a disruptive guest on their own, even without having a list of very specific disruptive behavior to draw upon. And if that guest believes he is misrepresented, then I don't know, maybe he could. There could be a open way to complain to the board about this, and that could be discussed if that happens often. But I would I generally think that it's much more expendable to be a bit liberal, to be able to fire disruptive guests without first consulting the manual, so to speak, because that could lead to a situation where the whole group is debating for 10 minutes if they can fire someone who's just being obnoxious.
I see. I see no hands risen, so I will use that for the comment. I believe some of the board members, namely at least Lukáš, asked for specifying some of the terms in the rules of procedure that should probably be done in the respective code of conduct. I would like to ask, is this still the case that you would like to have it more specified, or can we as a board live with just the existence of code of conduct manifesto without further specification in some sort of like code of conduct? Mia, raise the hand. Sorry, Lukáš.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's just continuing. We already had a conversation via email, and I was asking for quite some specifications of the Code of Conduct manifesto. And well, this email is existing, but I think some points could quite be specified, because otherwise people don't feel bound to it. I mean, we have to bring some more words into it to specify. Thank you.
I would use this opportunity to second that request, because my personal impression was that due to being from, let's say, different countries, we can interpret some situations or situations a little bit different. Like we have different habits, and maybe it is better to have, let's say, clear understanding described in the code of conduct rather than find it via, let's say, process of code of conduct council's decision. If you would consider that into your work, that was let's say demand for code of conduct council. Alessandro?
Yes, Mikuláš, thank you. It's very interesting because when you start speaking just a second before, I was saying, great. Now he's telling what I would like to tell, and then you finish to the opposite. It's incredible because what you consider a pain, I mean, or just a point of or a minus, I consider a plus. I mean, on the other hand, because we are, we have different habits, different cultures, and we're coming from all Europe, from Iceland to the east, from north to the south. I would rather do the opposite. I mean, I would prefer to have principles that are universal and more absolute than rules that are strict. So it's very easy to say that yes, you cannot say 10. So if you say 10, you're banned. Yes, it's a very clear rule, right? But it doesn't fit, in my opinion. It's more important to have these rules, and I agree with Marco that actually the principles expressed in the manifesto, the Code of Conduct manifesto that the Icelandics and all the pirates present in Milan almost 2 years ago, 1 year and a half ago, approved, are great. I agree with him, but I would prefer to have a flexible interpretation of principles, because if we have a problem, we solve the problem with a debate, and with applying a simple grid. Yes, you are in. Yes, you fit. No, you don't. I prefer to have a more, let's say, more discussion if we have a problem, unless we have a problem. Of course, if we don't have any problem, we go straight. But if we have a problem, it means discussion. And in my opinion, I trust in discussions. I trust in people. I prefer to have discussions with people that do not agree on me, and then finally go with them to have a good beer or a good glass of wine together. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, meanwhile, I have seen in the chat that Mia seconded my position. However, and raised hand, so please speak.
Just quickly, Alessandro, as much as I love your philosophical opinion, in my opinion, we can work much better when we put in clear, precise notions and connotations. It will help us so much more to act. And sometimes we've got really some problems here where we have to, find out what is going on, and discussions take time. But if we can put down what is meant with some words and all the connotations, it will help us a lot to act much better, easier, and quicker. That's my opinion.
If I may add, I think, for example, the question of whether people shall join or should be allowed to join meeting anonymously could be quite divisive because at least my pirate colleague in the European Parliament, Patrick Breyer, he was always very much of the opinion that right to participate anonymously in the internet in discussions shall be preserved. However, that's one of the opinions, and for sure we can go further. From my point of view, I don't see any reason why to insist on any formal request towards the Code of Conduct Council. So it's very much up to your discussion how you want to proceed with that. Or is there any board member who is willing to do some request on the Code of Conduct Council? Katla?
Well, no, I would love to have like a meeting with, or just a discussion night with the Code of Conduct Council on, like Marco was talking about before, how we can improve our manifesto or whatevs. But at the moment, I'm wondering if there's anyone who wanted to second Mickey's suggestion on change. I can put it in the chat, but it's also in line 126 in the minutes. So if anyone wants to second his suggestion, we can make a vote on that. And then I kind of just want to propose that we continue on with the agenda for tonight.
Well, we need to resolve the issues with rules of procedure. I mean, like, we need to amend them. So first, I would like to formally ask, is there anyone willing to second Mickey's proposal, Katla or someone else? I mean, like, we need to be to have this proposal formally raised by a board member. I see hand risen from Mickey, but that's probably does not count.
I just
Mickey.
wanted to say
pirate codex.
Yeah, we could
right?
work on this in the group, in the working group. It doesn't actually should not be in the meeting. We should stick to the agenda at the moment. So small changes like this we could do in the working group.
Well, my idea was originally to take this proposal and have vote on it like immediately now. So I was asking whether some of the board members want to second your proposal to amend it at the end of or just in before the voting. Alessandro, then Bastian. Yeah, Alessandro.
I myself agree on Mickey's proposal.
So Alessandro is seconding Mickey's proposal. Is there anyone objecting? Now, is this Alessandro's proposal?
Sorry, to be clear, that's our codex. So we can, yes, we can repeat our codex. I have no problem with that.
Okay. So is this a formal proposal to amend the text as it is?
If you're speaking with me, yes, it's fine for me.
Okay, so
will you read it, though, Nicholas?
Could you please record it to the proposal as you like the formal phrasing what you want to include there?
So I've put in the minutes that it's a simple change in Article 3 in the sentence of guests that disrupt the meeting can be excluded by the chairperson into guests that disrupt or corrupt the meeting can be excluded by the chairperson. So this is the proposal proposal of change in Article 3 of the draft of Rules of Procedure. Please put your votes into minutes.
I guess there was no objection, so it was also almost my intention to take it consensually approved.
Yes.
So I would
a proposal from me, Mickey, with this codex, we can put it on the top of the rules of procedure as a preamble.
Yeah, my request would be: could you please include the form of phrasing how you want to do that? Unless anyone objects.
Is there a new suggestion of a change, Bastian?
Not really. It's a preamble, and I think if we have a preamble for our rules of procedures, it's a clear sign that we respect every people, and that's saying what Mickey put in the chat here. And I think it's a good idea to have it as a preamble, that we state off very, very clear that we don't support any discrimination, whatever you can submit under that. So the beginning should be: we, the board, are against any actions of propaganda that encourages discrimination, and so on and so forth. If you understand what I mean.
Is there a written form where we can read it? Mia raised hand, Katla has raised hand. I'm sorry if I missed the order.
That's okay. Just quick. So have you put that down? Can we make a motion about this? Can we adopt this as a board? Would be fantastic.
That's my intention. I'm just expecting the proposal from Bastian. Or if it was to Bastian, then...
I'm an old man, don't hurry me up.
No, sorry, that was not the intention. Katla, please.
Yeah, I just want to say I love the thought, Bastian. I think it's a very... sorry for being sentimental, but yes, it's a very pretty way to start our document. And if you want help with the wording, then just share it in the chat or put it in the minutes, and I can help with the wording if you want.
I put it in line 140. Maybe you can correct it in the right way.
Okay. I would like to point attention of the all members to the line 140 in the minutes. There is a proposal from Bastian. Are there any objections to that proposal?
Just a short question. We do not speak about the rule of procedure no more, but of the code of conduct manifest.
No.
That's a preamble for the rules of procedure, and the amendment from Katla was according to the one line of the rules of procedure to change Article 3 from disrupt to disrupt or corrupt. So it's a right content. It's right. It's in the right meaning to the drill of procedure. It's not. It has nothing to do with manifesto or something like that.
Okay, Mickey, then Alessandro. Mickey. Mickey, can you hear us, or is the hand raised?
Okay, now you can hear me. You know, I changed. I added a word at the end of this sentence, and I would like to add individuality at the end, and that covers nearly every possibility there is in discrimination.
Yeah, but individuality is widespread, my friend. So we have to, make it concreter. We have to do individuality can be everything, right? And so
No,
terrorist is individual also. So I think that's not a good idea to put it in the preamble.
No, it was meant as the adjective to a person, single person, singling out one person instead of talking as a group. And we should always, because we are a group of pirates, we should always talk as a team, as a group, and never try to pinpoint individuals if they make mistakes. And that's the sort of thing that we should agree as pirates, and never sort of focus on single people as a pirate. We do single work in the background, but we, at the end of the day, we all agree on this as a group.
I would have a question for the board member. Is there anyone sharing this opinion? Because we are a little bit under time pressure, and we still can amend the rules of procedure anytime in future. So it's really not the way that we would not be able to change this document later on. Katla?
I'm very happy with Bastian's words there in the minutes. And as long as there are no objections from the board members, I think we should consider it approved by consensus.
I would like to ask for formal vote, if possible, just to at least write down all the respective board members who are still present and participate to take responsibility for approving the rules of procedure. So if it would be possible, I would like to ask the board to vote on the rules of procedure, including the preamble into the pad on line 140. I see. Mia, may I ask you to cast your votes on line 140?
Okay, I was just reading other texts. Okay, I will go there.
Yep, thank you. So I see a lot of votes being there, so it seems to be approved. Probably Mia, you cannot turn it, but you still can support the the respective rules of procedure. So please cast your vote, and I would consider rules of procedure to be approved. So please add them to the wiki.
Yes, I will do that tonight or tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. With that, I would finish the point rules of procedure. Thank you very much for this discussion. It was very useful and I believe very important, and will help us to resolve a lot of issues in future. And I would still use the opportunity to discuss at least the moderation on Mattermost together with our guests from Code of Conduct Council. Because we have a problem arised, namely, like I was requested by Dutch pirates whether they could be provided by an access to Mattermost, like the admin access, to be able to kick out an intruder who is disrupting their meetings in, let's say, Dutch team of on the Mattermost. As I understood, the situation is a bit tricky because they are talking their Dutch, as it is specifically for a Dutch pirate party, and hence it requires understanding. So I would like to ask the board members what is their, let's say, opinion regarding the procedure of how the moderation on the Mattermost shall be done. Katlan?
I think this is a huge discussion that needs a lot of time. At the moment, that's all I have to say.
I do agree. My idea would be to, let's say, set up a working group, maybe provided with some basic like guidelines or inputs from here, and then delegate the exact or elaboration of the exact rules to the working group. I saw Mickey's hands risen and then Katla's.
Yes, I would just like to abbreviate that the Code of Conduct manifesto was actually built on and made by the council at the council meeting, and the board, if you need a code of conduct, you would have to write one separately. You can literally take the wording from the manifesto from the council, but we could not change anything because only the council can change that. So the board and the working group of the Code of Conduct should actually build their own. So it's for the next council meeting, possibly better.
Yeah, Katla, please.
So yeah, I guess I'm just not really I've not been involved in online chat rooms on Mattermost, but I can see what is going on and I can see how people are talking to each other, which kind of makes me also not want to participate. Because in my experience from the Pirate Party in Iceland, nasty online behavior can really chip away at people and lead to burnouts in volunteers and in people that are participating in political work. So it's a burnout factory to have online channels that, you know, just sanction nasty behavior. It took years for us in Iceland to properly